wafted in these ideas of a newer politics and a hope that we could have younger, passionate, and dynamic leaders. I grew up in a household where politics was discussed regularly. I remember the day I sat opposite my mom at the age of 8, pointing to the caricatures of Congress leaders in the corner of our daily newspaper, asking her to explain to me who they were and what their jobs entailed. But never once was there a discussion about whether I wanted to be a politician. Any mention of that idea was snubbed with, "Politics is too dirty and not for girls from good homes," or "Politics is only for people who have a political background." When Atal Bihari Vajpayee served as Prime Minister for a full term during my growing up years, he was already a septuagenarian. Did I even want to be in service at that age? I would rather be retired and enjoying with my grandchildren. I'm certain that I wasn't the only one. Unlike the USA, where classrooms encourage children to aim to lead the country as the president, we are stuck to dreams of being doctors, engineers, teachers, pilots, and astronauts. We are even taught to dream of joining the armed forces. But politics? No one told us that was an option. The argument supporting the rationale behind younger representatives in politics is obvious. They are made every day and very articulately by political thinkers and debaters on television. But where are the examples to set in motion the big dreams of 6-year-olds in classrooms? 67-year-old Modi can go on and on about his love and ambition for the youth. But how long can we survive on the promises of ambition? The year 2017 drove me to a desperate search for younger politicians and political figures to look up to. To say the search took a while would be an understatement. As the face of a political storm at the age of 20, I needed someone to look up to, someone whose life journey I could gather motivation from. Many of the politicians that I spoke to were athletes, actors, or dynasts who took up politics as the next step to their diminishing careers. I understand why. After all, a life in politics affords one power and security. They can continue to enjoy the same amount of popularity their previous careers provided them. But as a citizen, I wondered, is leadership for them a second job? A step to move on to because it was convenient? Most importantly, can I trust them to lead us when leading us was never their first priority in life? My personal search for a role model led me to the very interesting names I talk about in the book. I needed their stories, and their lives have motivated me to keep taking an active initiative towards serving my nation. Since these stories and people have inspired me to this extent, I hope they have the ability to move many other lives too. I don't know if I'm an activist in the truest sense. Maybe I am, or maybe I'm not. The label was plastered on me at a very young age. But here is what I have always been: a storyteller. Stories have the power to change the world, and they have changed mine. In this book are stories that I believe the country of 650 million people under the age of 25 should know. The Chosen Ones: Omar, Sachin, Soumya, Jignesh. Omar Abdullah: Youth and Militancy. We don't talk about the conflict in Kashmir the way we should. There are many reasons for that, but the biggest one is that for some, it has become a daily reality, one that they are born into. Many others use it as a catchphrase to throw around while hating our neighbor Pakistan, which as Indians we do a lot, even more so now with the current government's anti-Pakistan stance. And no, here I'm not making a statement saying the government we had before was extraordinary. They came with their own issues, but as I once said, if these are the only choices I have, then I would rather have the one that steals my money than one that kills my kin. I have always had a very strong stance against this particular government, while being extremely wary of the others. My walk around the tiny gullies of Mesuma, south of Srinagar, where the chipped cement on the bare walls screamed conflict as they barely stood there, one brick upon the other, with adorations in form of graffiti calling for azadi and demands that Indian dogs go back, taught me more about the situation in Kashmir than any book could have. But what is this azadi that the Kashmiri youth have been so blatantly and so aggressively asking for? Where does the idea come from? What is the drive behind it? In search of the answers to these questions, I found